Next up, we have Kyle Escher, MuleSoft mentor and senior manager integration architecture at Johnson Control Industries. He's going to be sharing with you the Johnson Control Workday API and how it's powered by MuleSoft. Kyle, take it away.
Welcome to Johnson Control's Employee API powered by Workday. Today's agenda, we will be walking through Johnson Controls, a little bit about our history and where we are, a quick introduction of me, and then we'll hop into what our JCI enterprise environment is. Then we'll walk through our enterprise integration use case for the employee information. Then we'll work through our Workday integration capabilities, and then walk through the enterprise integration architecture process that we use to develop and design our employee API, then followed by our employee API outcomes. My name is Kyle Escher. I'm a senior manager and architecture lead at Johnson Controls on the enterprise integration team. My background with MuleSoft started in 2015. I am a certified MuleSoft 4 developer and a certified platform architect as well. And I have done everything from development, team management, and architecture lead while working with MuleSoft. Johnson Controls was founded in 1885 with one of the first thermostats, and we have the patent for that. And we have a long history in our building space. We are very much a value-focused company. As you can see, our values are integrity first, purpose-led, one team, customer-driven, and future-focused. One of our exciting product releases recently is our OpenBlue platform. OpenBlue is a complete suite of connected solutions that delivers an impactful sustainability, and it's infused by AI. And we have accelerators around different types of buildings like hospitals, schools, to really get folks up and running in this new platform. Here at Johnson Controls, we are very active in our communities locally in the U.S. and globally as we are a global company. As you can see, we have reduced our CO2 metric reduction of 26 million metric tons of CO2. We have over 300,000 of volunteer hours and 8,700 active patents, very involved in our community. The next section will be the JCI enterprise environment. This will set the stage for how we architect and the environment we architect in for the integration team. The JCI enterprise environment is made up like many IT companies where we have our IT strategy, standards, and governance being the underpinnings of all of IT. And then we layer on top our enterprise integration strategy, standards, and governances, and then support the project delivery and operations. Some highlights at JCI is we have, for our enterprise, we have ERP consolidation projects going on. We also have global business capabilities where we're able to track the capabilities of our systems and how they support the business. We also have technology strategies depending on whether it's enterprise integration, enterprise data. We also have a cloud-first strategy. Some of the interesting governance areas we have around security reviews, our global process owners to support the capabilities in mapping processes, actual applications, and having community of architects across all the pillars of technology to make sure our standards are aligning to all the strategies we have at JCI. The enterprise integration strategy that we have in our team is our integrations need to be business process driven. We shouldn't be building an integration that doesn't map to a business process or support a business capability. Our integrations should be reusable global integrations. This means we build it once, and it shouldn't matter if we build it in a Europe-based plant or an APAC-based plant. It should be reusable across the entire globe and supporting that business process. We also want to make sure for the integrations we build, we do not customize any of our strategic applications. This helps us minimize upgrade issues that we have if there's customizations on those strategic systems and take that work into the middleware layer. And then also making sure we have architecture and operational alignment around our strategic tool sets. Some of the governance items that we have on the enterprise integration team, we have an integration governance council. This is a cross-functional C4E with our Oracle and SAP COEs and our data COE. Here we want to make sure as we review our integrations that we tie them correctly back to the business processes we support. And with that also validate that the design approach for each of the integrations supports the global nature that we're also putting ourselves accountable for. We also have monthly API reuse KPIs that we publish to our team and to outside of us and to our IT leadership. Another governance aspect we have is when we're doing integrations for new systems, we take them through an application integration assessment. This provides us the capabilities of that system to integrate and then allowing us to align that system to the best tool set and standards we have. And then we also have architectural reviews for projects. This helps make sure our SI partners are aligning to our architectural tenets and producing what we want in the end for JCI. And of course, at the top of our environment, we have our project delivery and operations. And this should be pretty standard for most folks where the projects and operations, you want to be able to meet the project requirements on time, with quality, within budget, and then for operations, not having issues. With that, the governance we provide for architecture reviews helps make sure we're building the system correctly or the interfaces correctly. And then we also have an integration factory model with our SI partners that allows us to scale up and down to meet on time for our project request and make sure we're meeting within our budget with the flexibility we have with our partners. And then we also have enablement enterprise integration accelerators for our partners. This allows our partners to come up to speed quickly in our environment, and it's best practices around everything from naming applications in MuleSoft, flows in MuleSoft, to testing frameworks and being able to speed up into the environment. In this context, this is the environment the JCI Employee API was built in. In this next section, we will be going into the employee data integration use case to provide more context on why we built this API. The JCI employee data needs use cases for our first project was Oracle Fusion ERP for one of our business units in Europe needed employee data. This employee data is needed for supporting ERP functionalities. I call it the life cycle of employee data because this doesn't just include that you have an employee as of today. If you have promotions, folks leave the company, new hires, managers get reassigned, things like that, that information needs to flow seamlessly into the ERP to support those business processes. And then we had a second project follow on very quickly, which is a global template for all our Oracle Fusion components, such as Oracle Fusion Subscription Management, Sales Performance Management, to be able to provide them with that same employee information, which also leads into future projects where we have similar needs in our SAP ecosystem, and our smart factories as well need the same type of employee information. So the employee information, while it started with one project, has expanded beyond even that BU scope to actually be encompassing all of JCI's BUs. The next section I want to take you through is the process we follow here at JCI when we're doing architecture reviews for integrations and APIs. The first thing we wanted to take a look at when we were building this integration is the Workday integration capabilities. And as you can see here, Workday supports out-of-the-box APIs, custom APIs, and then Workday also provides a Workday integration cloud. Public APIs definitely aligns to our strategy of not customizing a strategic application. And then the custom APIs, this one doesn't align to our JCI strategy because it's causing customization inside of Workday. And then Workday also supports the Workday Integration Cloud, which allows you to create custom integrations. And we have coined the term extendable service framework inside the Workday Integration Cloud. And this, again, doesn't align to the JCI standard of not customizing the tooling. And also it doesn't align to our standard tools of MuleSoft for our integration best practices. The design options we considered for this API were event-driven, standard Workday out-of-the-box APIs, file extracts, and I'll walk through each one of them. And where we ended up was the standard Workday APIs and the extendable service framework. Event-driven, as you can see, was our actual preferred choice in the upper left-hand corner. However, we ran into an issue with Workday that the change data capture inside for employee changes doesn't support all the changes we were looking for on the employee lifecycle. So the only way to expand it would be to put a extrusionating load on top of the actual Workday application. So this was a non-starter from our Workday team. The file extracts, this one also doesn't align to our API-led approach and doesn't allow for reuse very well. So we wanted to stay away from file extracts as well. Then we took a look at the standard Workday API. This would also align to the API-led strategy and creating a system API around it. However, with the standard Workday API, it's the same issue we ran into with the event-driven approach, where the change data capture for employee changes wasn't capturing every change that we needed to be able to push through. So we ended up down here in the lower right-hand corner of the standard Workday API and using the extendable service framework. So this was kind of a sweet spot for us, where we were able to get the change data capture that we needed and also leverage the standard out-of-the-box APIs to build a system API that was reusable. With the extendable service framework, in conjunction with our Workday team, we applied the same patterns. So when we created the extendable service framework for this change data capture on the employee changes, we built it as a reusable component that is configurable to send in different options to support different requirements for different BUs at different times. So with this option, it definitely meets our integration requirements and our strategy, and minimizing the items that we don't want to have creep into the environment. So a little more details on that change data capture. So that, as I talked about, Workday exposes the two methods to get employee data back, and out-of-the-box APIs, or the event-driven, provides a small window of changes that it captures to be able to push out. And if you change that in the default mechanism, it puts a lot of load on the Workday application to be able to produce that data set. So by offloading it to the extendable service framework outside of that Workday application, we're able to create a custom application, so to speak, that is configurable to pull back the other records that weren't being captured by the out-of-the-box API. And as you can see with the Venn diagram, the A and B, where we wanted to be able to get A and B, but not the duplicates in the middle, that's how we're able to merge both data sets together to be able to provide the data that the Oracle Fusion ERP needs. With that, hop into the high-level solution overview for the first project. From here, we have a batch MuleSoft application right there in the middle. And as you can see, the number one, so the MuleSoft application retrieves the employee numbers through the extended service framework by applying filter criteria. And as I stated earlier, this extended framework, we have different filter criteria, so it can support multiple integration or batch applications that need to pull data out. Once that data is retrieved from that framework, we also retrieve employee details from the out-of-the-box Workday APIs. And if needed, we can provide the union result set, or if it just needs the employee data, such as you're looking for Kyle Usher, you'd be able to call that same API to get that. In this solution, step two is then sending that content to the Oracle Universal Content Management, or UCM system for Oracle. We have a MuleSoft framework around handling the UCM intricacies of pushing data into the Oracle Fusion Cloud. We'll go into detail, but from a high level, the MuleSoft batch application calls Workday through the extended framework and then calls the out-of-the-box API and then creates that result set and sends the content, in this instance, to Oracle UCM. To dive a little deeper into some of the low-level designs of this, here at JCI, we actually have a core scheduler built on MuleSoft. This scheduler is not the out-of-the-box scheduler that comes with MuleSoft. It's a database-driven scheduler where we're able to schedule batch jobs. For this project, the scheduler actually kicks off our batch application on step one, batch application or Mule app in the middle, then invokes that extendable service framework by an async call into the Workday system API. And for this instance, we're setting down the correct filter criteria just for the one business unit that needs the data for Oracle Fusion right now. From there, the Workday system API calls the Workday extendable framework, and then we record the batch information in our control table. From there, Workday produces the data as needed, and it calls the Workday Experience API. That Experience API looks up the control table information so it knows where to route that data back. So now we're on step 7. Step 7 sends the data back to that Mule application, and then the Mule application, in this scenario, we'll do steps 8A and 8B, where it'll call the out-of-the-box services exposed by the Workday System API to retrieve employee details and employee-specific information from Step 8. And then we package the content up to be passed into the Universal Content Management System for Oracle. And there's a few more steps here, but I won't bore you on the UCM details. With that, the business outcomes that we were able to achieve with this employee system API, we were able to align to our EI strategy, limiting customization on our strategic application. So in this instance for Workday, we created the customization in the extendable framework, not in the actual Workday application. And that framework that was extended is configurable. We also have now a consistent employee object that we are sharing across business units and for the first project, second project, and other projects. It also supports the ERP site rollouts. So this framework, as we roll out in Project 2, as I alluded to earlier, we are now able to roll this out to multiple plants or countries and just change the configuration to include them. And then the integration application still works as it is. And the API is now being reused with 4 projects across our service business units and our global product business units and our retail. So this API is actually leveraged across all of JCI's business units. And with that, now we'll take your questions. And if you're curious on how the Workday API supports our global ERP rollouts, this would be a great time to ask how that works.